October 24th, 2023, Sacramento, California. Late in the evening, inside the Central Division Station of the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office, a deputy walks into a public restroom. Minutes later, another officer pushes open the door. His colleague is on the floor. Unresponsive, not breathing normally. The initial report goes out immediately. A deputy has been exposed to chemicals, possibly fentanyl, during a stop. The sheriff's spokesperson alerts the media. Colleagues who witnessed the scene are so shaken they later seek therapy. It was a tragedy, an accident, a reminder of the dangers officers face every day on the front lines of America's drug epidemic. Except, it wasn't any of those things. Marvin Morales was 40 years old, a Sacramento County Sheriff's deputy with a military background. He was trained in law enforcement tactics. He knew how evidence was handled. He knew how investigations worked. He knew exactly what he was doing. On the surface, Morales was a functioning officer. He went on calls. He made stops. He wrote reports. He wore the badge. But behind that badge, something had been unraveling for months. What the Internal Affairs investigation would eventually uncover was not just a single moment of weakness on one October evening. It was a pattern, a secret habit that had been building since at least August of 2023, right under the nose of one of California's largest law enforcement agencies. It started in August of 2023, 2 months before the overdose. Morales made a routine stop, confiscating a glass narcotics smoking pipe. He issued a misdemeanor citation for possession of drug paraphernalia, standard procedure. In his official report, Morales wrote that he had safely disposed of the glass pipe at the Central Area Station. He hadn't. According to the 468-page Internal Affairs report later released by the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office, Morales kept the pipe. He took it home. And over the course of 2 to 3 months, he smoked methamphetamine residue from that pipe, 3 to 4 times. His explanation to investigators? The meth gave him, in his own words, the energy he needed to write in custody reports. He wasn't just using drugs. He was stealing evidence, falsifying reports, and continuing to show up for duty, armed, in uniform, with a badge, while actively using narcotics he had seized from the very people he was supposed to be policing. On the afternoon of October 24th, 2023, at approximately 5:40 in the evening, Morales conducted a suspicious subject stop. During the encounter, he found a tinfoil bundle sticking out of the suspect's pants, what appeared to be methamphetamine. He issued a misdemeanor citation for possession. Business as usual. What Morales didn't know, what he couldn't have known in the field, was that the substance in that tinfoil bundle wasn't methamphetamine. A lab test would later confirm it. The drug was fentanyl, a synthetic opioid up to 50 times more potent than heroin, a substance so powerful that lethal doses are measured in micrograms. Morales pocketed it anyway. About 3 hours after the stop, still on duty, armed and in full uniform, Marvin Morales walked into the Sacramento County Sheriff's Central Division Station. He entered the lobby. He walked into a public restroom that was closed to the public at that time. Security cameras captured him entering. Minutes later, another deputy pushed open that door and found Morales unconscious on the bathroom floor.
Leave that door open! Morales! You good?
My radio is dead.
Huh?
My radio is dead. Get that.
Get his vest off. Straighten his leg. Straighten his leg.
Yep.
Drug paraphernalia was in the pocket of his uniform. Colleagues flooded the bathroom. They administered multiple rounds of Narcan, the opioid reversal drug, fighting to bring him back. An ambulance was called. Morales was rushed to the hospital. He survived. CBS 13 was outside the station that night as the first reports came in. Reports that a deputy had been accidentally exposed to chemicals. Reporters didn't know yet. The public didn't know yet. Even most of the sheriff's office didn't know yet. But sheriff's office personnel at the scene had already noticed the drug paraphernalia in Morales' pockets. An internal affairs investigation was initiated that same night. What followed was one of the most thorough internal investigations in the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office's recent history. The final report ran 468 pages. Photographs, videos, timelines, interview transcripts, and forensic test results. When investigators confronted Morales, he initially claimed the overdose was a suicide attempt, that he had ingested the drug intentionally because he was suffering from depression and wanted to die. Investigators didn't fully buy it, and the forensics backed up their skepticism. A hair drug test, which can detect substance use going back months, showed evidence of chronic, ongoing drug use. Not a single desperate act, a pattern. The investigation confirmed what the evidence already suggested. Morales had been stealing seized drugs, using them repeatedly, and falsifying official reports to cover his tracks. He was not a man who had one terrible moment. He was a man who had built a secret life inside his badge. One of Morales' colleagues, whose name was redacted from the public report, put it bluntly. The fact that something has potentially occurred on duty involving evidence and drugs, I'd say it erodes the public's trust in us if it was to get out. Sheriff Jim Cooper described it in even starker terms. A horrible embarrassment across the law enforcement community. Our individual actions are not individual. They affect us not just as an organization, but as an entire occupation. In February of 2024, as the internal investigation neared its conclusion and the recommendation for termination was being prepared, Marvin Morales submitted a resignation letter, citing, of all things, personal reasons. The sheriff's office accepted his resignation, but formally terminated him anyway. The record would show, fired. In March 2024, the California Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training confirmed that Morales had voluntarily surrendered his peace officer certification. He was done in law enforcement, permanently. In March of 2025, the full 468-page internal affairs report was released to the public. It made national headlines. For most people following the story, that was where it ended. A cautionary tale, a scandal, a disgrace. It was not where it ended. December 2nd, 2025. Elk Grove, California, a suburb south of Sacramento. A mother was at work when she glanced at her home security camera feed on her phone. Her 11-year-old son was lying on the ground, unresponsive. She called 911 immediately. Elk Grove police responded to 7600 Farrell Way. The boy was found stabbed. He died at the scene. The suspect, his own father, Marvin Morales. By the time police arrived, Morales was already gone. A gun safe at the home had been emptied. Multiple firearms registered to Morales were missing. Flock license plate readers picked up his vehicle heading south out of town. Elk Grove police immediately alerted neighboring law enforcement agencies. The threat was considered extreme. Morales had law enforcement training, military combat experience, and was now armed with an unknown number of weapons. Just before 9:30 in the morning, a plainclothes investigative unit located Morales' SUV on southbound Interstate 5 near Laguna Boulevard. At almost the same moment, Sacramento County Sheriff Jim Cooper, personally, spotted the vehicle and radioed its location over dispatch. 2 K9 units joined the pursuit. The chase reached speeds over 100 miles per hour. It ended in a crash in the foggy Delta region south of Sacramento. What followed was a tense standoff. Officers on body camera footage can be heard shouting commands. Then, Morales reached for something. Deputies said he pulled out what appeared to be a rifle and pointed it toward them. More than 30 rounds were fired. Marvin Morales was struck multiple times. A K9 was deployed. Officers rendered aid. He was transported to a hospital. He was pronounced dead. Marvin Morales went from being a law enforcement officer entrusted to protect his community, to a drug addict stealing evidence, to a man who killed his own child. The badge didn't protect anyone. Not the public, not his son, not himself. An 11-year-old boy is dead. A family is shattered. And a story that began in a station bathroom in Sacramento ended on a foggy California freeway, with more than 30 gunshots and nothing left to save.